Peace. All praise and glory to the mighty Most High, our Creator is one God. Welcome to my new subscribers. I've been growing this channel for 2 years. I have 212 subscribers. It's kind of funny. Other channels, they have 24 videos. They've been up for 45 days and they got 5,000 subscribers. So I guess it's just what it is you want to talk about. And clearly a lot of people don't like to talk about God, the supreme, self-existing, eternal creator. A lot of people don't like to read the Bible. A lot of people don't read the Bible, and then they think that they understand God. Okay, now there are a very few select out there, and Christians are lying to you when they tell you that indigenous people that are in tribes and stuff, and they have nothing to do with any kind of city. They're out there hunting day to day for their meals. They're bringing it home over their backs. They're tracking it down. They hunt with spears. Okay? Christianity will tell you that these people will all burn in hell because they don't know the Bible. Now that is completely ridiculous. See, so there can be a relationship between you and God without the Bible. But you can't have any interference with any of the United Nations, and that's the problem. Is the United Nations, they get into these outer links to the world and try to drive their stories of the Bible. Okay, because that's what this Bible is. This is a story, folks. Okay, and I don't want people getting lost in the stories of the Bible. Okay, there's a message. That's what we're trying to achieve, is a message. Not focus so hard on what's the stories of the Bible, because no one could know. Okay, they're just stories that are written in, and the reason why I say that only is because the Bible has been changed. Here's the thing, the Bible has the truth and the lies in it because duality exists. You must understand that the very fabric between our world, this electrification of this materialized world, and the spiritual world are interconnected with one another. Everything that exists is inter-divined. It is molded in the fabric of our reality. So though a lot of these stories that are going on in the Bible are happening, you've got to understand that they've been changed. You couldn't possibly believe that the prophets could do the things that they've done and then be blessed by the Spirit, when the Spirit, the eternal creator, says that he has a chosen people, is slaughtering his own children, his own people. So you must turn back to the creator. Okay? Leviticus 9. On the 8th day, Moses summoned Aaron and his sons and the elders of Israel. I've told you this before. Israel could be a trinity. Okay? Because you have this as Isis, which is a female god. You have Ra, which is the sun god. And El is also like all of them. You have Elohim, Eloah, Eloho. Okay? You have Elaka. Okay? You have all these L's. Okay? Which is also, you have angels, right? You have Raphael, the angel. You have Michael, the angel. You have Gabriel, the angel. L, L, L. Everything is L. Okay? And when we're firing against God, what do? We rebel. Okay? We are reviling against the supreme creator. So I'm beginning to think more with this language that the devil, which is evil, and evil spelt backwards is to live. See, the Creator requires us to worship Him in spirit and truth. So the Spirit of Truth uses all of this. All of these here, everything that I have just mentioned here, are all Elohim. Okay? And these equal both good and evil. Elohim can also be watchers. Okay? So, he called the sons and all the elders of Israel. He said to Aaron, take a bull calf for a sin offering and a ram for your burnt offering, both without defect. This is crucial in your understanding as well, folks. That the Creator, everything that we've been reading in this since we've been talking about sacrifice, the Creator, the Spirit, well, I don't believe that the one that's saying bring me an animal without defects is the Spirit of God, but whatever it is that's asking for this sacrifice is requiring that the sacrifice be without defects. Why is this important? Because Jesus was put on that cross and was beaten half to death and tortured and walked and had people just screaming in his ear, treating him like shit, and causing defects, bruises, bones broken, as we've been told. Okay? Bones were broken. Spikes ran through his hands. That is a defected sacrifice. So now you have to think about that. Common sense tells you have to think about that. Both without defect and present them before the Lord. Then say to the Israelites. Okay, again, why are the Israelites called the Israelites? They're the only nation of people with the word light in it. All right, you have the Perizzites, the Hittites, all these other tribes that are spelled Tities, the Tites, but it's only Israel that are considered the Israelites because they were light beings. You see, Adam and Eve became encapsulated in their flesh suits just as the Gentiles, just as we have. Okay, we are trapped in our flesh. Okay, energy only moves from one place to another. We are eternal beings. We live forever. Where you live, how you live forever, is how you live on this life here. What did you do? Were you righteous? Or were you always trying to con somebody? Trying to steal something from somebody? Make money by exploiting people with not the same knowledge that you do? You see, I've stumbled across something. I have been granted wisdom. I have been granted insight. And now I share that with you. And as I said, we don't focus on the stories of the Bible as much as we focus on the message. And the message that I bring is serve one Spirit of truth. That's what you're serving, okay? Take a male goat as a sin offering, a calf and a lamb, both a year old without defect. Again, without defect. Jesus was defected by the time he was put up on that cross for a burnt offering, and an ox and a ram as a fellowship offering to sacrifice before the Lord, together with the grain offering mixed with olive oil. For today the Lord will appear to you. Appear? Holy shit. Hold on, man. Give me a second here. Appear. Appear. What does appear mean? Appear means to come out, to crop up, develop, arrive. It means to come into sight. Let's see. Come into sight. You see right up here? Come into sight. Come into sight. So the Lord, for today, the Lord will appear, which is to show up, to show, to emerge, to materialize. So, well, why is that a problem? Because Exodus 33:20 tells us, no man can see my face and live. So you guys are going to notice that something is appearing now before Moses, appearing before the congregation, appearing before the Israelites. Okay? So we can't have the Creator, the Supreme Being, the Spirit of Truth, the living God. The Spirit of Truth doesn't contradict itself. Okay? You see what I'm saying? So something here that's appearing before you cannot be the Supreme, self-existing, eternal Creator, if the Supreme, self-existing, eternal Creator is telling you, no man can see my face and live. Also, another question to ask yourself is, if the Spirit of Truth, okay, the Spirit on the other side of this veil, you can't see the Spirit on the other side of this veil in our flesh suits. If you see the Spirit, you're dead. It's that simple. Okay, so the Spirit says no one can see his face and live. So you have to ask yourself this question, folks. How can you see Jesus' face and live? That would be saying that your Exodus 33, no man can see my face, that the Spirit of Truth who's telling you no man can see his face and live, that you are looking at Jesus' face and alive. How can that be? Somebody's lying here, and you got to think this through. You got to use a little bit of common sense here, okay? If no one can see God's face and live, and you're looking at Jesus Christ's face as God, how can you be alive? Because I keep trying to tell you, you are the walking dead. You're the walking dead, folks. We are. Those that are created in an image of God are the walking dead. Okay? Because an image of God, an image is a phantom. The biblical definition for image is a phantom. So I'm saying that, who is this that's appearing to you before the Lord? Now, a channel that I listen to, she's kind of quit, which kind of sucks. Well, she gave some information, Yesharel, and she said that all the names yesterday that I spoke of Yahweh, Yahweh, and Yah. Again, 3 names. And this could be a trinity. Another big question that I ask is, if everybody got on the ark that spoke one language, then how did we get tribes speaking multiple language before the Babel? Go and read Genesis. Read chapters 6 through 10. And then you're going to see that a lot of the tribes were already speaking multiple languages even before the land of Babel that takes place in Genesis chapter 11. So my friend, who we don't really talk, but I should say more of a worshiper of the Creator as well, told me the other day that none of these names are proper. Okay? She said that the J and the W are a no-go. And that's kind of funny, because you have, and I don't dispute what she's saying, because I think the letter W is a metaphor for the double U, because we have a good us and a bad us. Okay? We do have a seed of evil that is in all of us, okay? We don't know it because we're not being taught. We're not being told. Our ministers are lying to us. People are telling you that you're special. Okay? We're not special, folks. Nobody on this plane of existence is special other than those that worship the Spirit of truth, one God. All those that worship the Spirit of truth are the special children of God. Doesn't matter what's your race, what's your color, what's your name, or anything else. If you worship one God, then you are special. You could possibly have angels telling the Creator and singing praise about how special you are because you've turned back to the Lord. This is a difficult walk, to turn back to God in this plane of existence, once you are placed into the psyche of the conscious mind, trapped in these flesh suits. Okay? So, they appeared to the Lord. They took the things Moses had commanded to the front of the tent of meetings, and the entire assembly came near and stood before the Lord. So now they're all standing before the Lord. And by the way, the Lord here, gotta say it for you, is Yahweh, as they say. Yes, Sharella, if you could phonetically spell what you are saying. What do I mean phonetically? Like phonetically, Yahweh would be just as it almost sounds, but way might be spelt like that instead. Yahweh. So if you're watching this so far into about 20 minutes of it, give me the phonetic spelling for Yahweh, or what you're saying, because a lot of people believe Yasharel is the Creator's name, and the more names that start coming out, the more I question it. I believe we're born into this realm of existence with the memory wipe. Nobody on this plane of existence could know ultimately if you're cast into a world of nothing but lies. Okay? Also, the Lord here is 3068 of the Strong's Concordance. Okay? And the Lord here is the proper name of Yahweh. Also in Jerusalem, it is called Jehovah. The Lord is called Jehovah. And then you have Jesus. You have Yahweh, Gilgamesh, Melchizedek, Enki, Enil. You have all these different names. How could any of us know? So why? If I'm trying to find the truth and I'm crying out for the truth to the Lord, to the supreme self-existing eternal spirit, this is the definition for Lord in the Bible, is perpetual, eternal, the always existing spirit of truth. These are the definitions for the Lord. But I don't even call the Lord the Lord. I try to stay away from it as well, because it also says in Bible Hub that the Lord is a man of war. It says Yahweh is a man of war. This is why Yahweh will appear, or whoever it is. Whatever this is that's appearing, you can bet your ass 100% it's not the spirit of truth. It's not the living God. Okay, the living God's telling you no one can appear before him and see his face and live. Then Moses said, this is what the Lord commanded you to do, so that the glory of the Lord can appear to you. Well, nothing can appear to the Lord, so we know that it's a man that's appearing. And if it's a man that is appearing before the Lord, then it can't be the supreme creator. It's something that is used, and that is the definition of Elohim, used of the supreme creator. Moses said to Aaron, come to the altar and sacrifice your sin offering and your burnt offering and make atonement for yourself and the people. Sacrifice the offering that is for the people and make atonement for them as the Lord has commanded you. Well, so the Creator uses these Elohim because that is what Elohim are. They're used of the Supreme Creator. So Aaron came to the altar and slaughtered the calf for himself as a sin offering. His sons brought the blood to him, and he dipped his finger into the blood and put it on the horn of the altar. Again, anytime the word horn, I associate the word horn with the devil, because the devil has horns. Why would I say that, talking about such a perfect ark, this beautiful piece of artwork that was this image? That's why. Because whatever it is, it doesn't matter. The ark is an image. It is a graven image. It was something that was carved. It was something that was beat. It was something that was covered in silver and gold. Okay? Put it on the horn. Doesn't Satan have horns? Huh? Okay, of the altar. The rest of the blood he poured out at the base of the altar. On the altar he burned the fat, the kidney and the long lobe of the liver from the sin offering, as the Lord commanded Moses. The flesh and the hide he burned up outside the camp. Burned up. Doesn't Satan love burning, huh? When I say Satan, what am I talking about, folks? I'm talking about mankind. Okay? What you got to understand is human and mankind are not the same. Mankind are Gentile. Human beings are spiritual. Okay? Gentile here are flesh. They're carnal. Okay? The human being here are spiritual. They're heavenly bodies. Okay? And Jesus is a body, but he is the opposite of a heavenly body. He is a fleshly body. Jesus was carbon just like all of us. He was a man. He wasn't fully man and fully God, folks. You got to ask yourself a question. How could Jesus be fully man and fully God and him himself not even know the day of his own return? Okay, you can't have it both ways, Christians. You can't have it this way. You got to start thinking, yeah, that's a good question. How could he? You know? So burnt offerings is something that I would say would be a God that comes from the fire. He's the one that would require burnt offerings to burn up outside the camp. Then he slaughtered. Again, the word laughter in slaughtered. Because the masters, the slave masters, are laughing at you because you guys are flesh eaters, man. You are off to the slaughter yourself. He slaughtered the burnt offering once again. His sons handed him the blood, and he splashed it against the sides of the altar. They handed him the burnt offering piece by piece, including the head, and burned them on the altar. That just sounds like, wow, perfect. Let's burn something, let's slice something, let's destroy something, an animal, and throw it on an altar and spread its blood all over. That sounds almost like a blood sacrifice, almost the same as Jesus. Jesus was a blood sacrifice for the Gentile, and it appears the animal sacrifice is the sacrifice for the Israelites. As the Bible is telling us, not me, I'm just pointing it out to you, that this sounds like blood sacrifice to me. It doesn't sound right at all. Okay? None of it sounds right to me at all. Then he slaughtered the burnt offering. His son handed him blood, and he splashed it on the sides of the altar. They handed him the burnt offering piece by piece, including the head, and burned them on the altar. He washed the internal organs and legs and burned them on top of the burnt offering on the altar. Aaron then brought the offering that was the people. He took the goat for the people's sin offering and slaughtered it and offered it as a sin offering, as he did the first one. Looks like I wrote it twice there. See, he brought the burnt offering and offered it in the prescribed way. He also brought the grain offering, took a handful of it, and burned it on the altar in addition to the morning's burnt offerings. He slaughtered the ox and the ram as a fellowship offering for the people. His sons handed him the blood, and he splashed it on the sides of the altar. But the fat portions of the ox and the ram, the fat tail, the layer of the fat, and the kidney and the long lobe of the liver, these they laid on the breast, and then Aaron burned the fat on the altar. Aaron waved the breast before the Lord as a wave offering, as Moses had commanded. Closing out, 22. Then Aaron lifted his hands towards the people and blessed them. And having sacrificed the sin offering, the burnt offering, and the fellowship offering, he stepped down. Moses and Aaron then went into the tent of meeting. When they came out, they blessed the people, and the glory to the Lord appeared to all of the people. So the Creator tells us that we're not to make any images. Excuse me. The Creator says that you're not to make any graven images. So if the Lord appeared to all the people, how come no one can say what the Lord looks like? Again, no one can see what the Lord looks like. The only way that this could possibly happen is if all those people that the Lord appeared to were spiritual beings. They had to have been spiritual beings to be able to see and have the Lord appeared to them, because flesh can't place their eyes on the Creator and live. Okay? All praise and glory to the mighty most high, our Creator is one God. Blessings to all the children, strangers, Gentiles, humans, Nephilim, anyone who stops, repents to one God, the Spirit of truth, the eternal Creator, repents, feels your shame, knows your shame, go to your room, hit your knees, close your door, go to your closet if you have to, go wherever it is that you need privacy, and humbly kneel down, a broken person, crushed and destroyed of your ego, and then maybe, just maybe, the Spirit with your ego broken will come upon you. Because a man with an ego, the Spirit will not touch. You have to be ready for the Spirit when that time comes. And if you're not, life will pass you by. This is White Raptor News Ministries. Peace.